What's up everybody out there on YouTube, Bryce and Michael RC here, and today we're going to be doing my actual review for the Ender 3, the Creality Ender 3. Now I'm going to do the same for this. This is my kind of first review after having it for a little while, doing some printing and stuff on it. I'm going to do a 3-month review, and then I'll do a 6-month review. Well, I'll do a 3-month review and then probably a year review. I'll tell you what guys, I've really enjoyed this machine. Definitely worth the $200 that it costs. It's very, very inexpensive, very easy to put together. I put a build video up if you guys want to look at that. Didn't take a long time to put this thing together. It is what it is. You get what you pay for. Actually, you get a little bit better than what you pay for, because paying $200 for a machine, I thought it was going to be a lot worse than this. It's actually a really decent printer. Definitely not as good as my other printer, the Anycubic i3 Mega, but it does have a bigger build volume on it. I'll put the build volume up down here at the bottom so you guys can see that. One of the things about the Creality Ender 3 is right off the bat, whenever you get it, you have to assemble it all, put all the stuff together. And then what you want to do is go through and make certain upgrades and stuff. And I'll be making an upgrade video shortly showing you all the different upgrades that I've made for it. You can see down under here the little shelf, the little drawer thing that I put for it. This is necessary down here. This is a little fan thing right there that went into it. And then there's just all sorts of other upgrades that I did for it. So let's talk about this thing. We're going to go ahead and start over here. Just like the Creality CR series, the CR10s, it's got this little turn knob over here. It's very easy to learn. Basically, you just push it in and it brings you to the menu. And each one of these menus has sub-menus. The one thing that I didn't like about it is this change SD card. So every time that you put a new SD card with new stuff on it, you have to come here to change SD card and then print from SD card. So you don't just start right away from print from SD card, because this will say what the last SD card said. So that kind of threw me off right off the bat. The prepare, that's kind of like your preheats. You can do your preheat ABS and preheat PLA. Every time that I go in here and do the preheats, it heats up the hot end, but it doesn't heat up the bed. So I actually don't use either of these at all. The only one in this menu right here that I use is the Auto Home, because that you use to level your bed, and we'll talk more about your bed here in a second. You do the Auto Home, and then it takes it to the home point, and then you disable the steppers, and it turns off the motor so you can bring this back and forth and level your bed by using these little knobs here. The one cool thing about it is these knobs are gigantic and they turn easy, but that's actually, there's a pro and con about this. It's really, really easy to set your bed, to level your bed. Really, really easy to level it, but it's also really, really easy for it to become unlevel. Like you definitely have to level this every time that you print. Every single time that you print. With the Anycubic i3 Mega, the other printer that I use, you can probably print 3 or 4 times before you have to level it again. And so I found a way to get around that. You can put tape on the board. Just put some masking tape and stuff on the board, and then you can change the masking tape off the bed every 3 or 4 prints, rather than re-leveling the bed every 3 or 4 prints. So I don't know what it is about it that PLA loves to stick to masking tape, and you don't have to have it perfectly level for that to work. So, but I do like that they're so easy to turn. They're big, so you just gotta get a finger on it and stuff. With the other one that I have, it's so little you have to kind of get in there. It sucks, but real easy to level the bed. You have, so that was under your prepare. You have your control, which is your temperatures, and this is how I set it. I go in here, you just click on temperature, and then you can click on nozzle, and then basically just turn this until you get it up to where you want it. So with PLA, I would just put 220 and then push it to set, but I'm not gonna set it, so I'm just gonna wait for it to go back real quick, push it to set, wait, and it'll go back to the main screen. So that's how simple it is. It's really easy. Oh, I hadn't taken that off yet. Okay, see, it goes back to the main screen and it didn't set anything. So we're going to go back to control. Temperatures, same thing with your bed. And then your fan speed. You can set it from here. So, alright, you've got your motions. These are your accesses, which you can go through. I don't ever use that. So, but you can go through here even after you've created the G code. Even after you put your SD card in, it starts printing. You can go through here and turn your heat up on your nozzle, or heat up or down on your nozzle or bed. Your fan speed. You can do your if you know how to do all this stuff, you can set all this stuff, which you would preset in your slicer. But I haven't went through here and messed with any of this stuff. I don't ever mess with it. Then you've got your store memory and load memory, which I haven't used yet. I haven't messed around with all that. And then your print from SD card, and this is your SD card here, what you have saved into your SD card. And anytime that you change your SD card, you have to click change. It doesn't do anything. Now you come up here and your SD card will have changed. So, real easy to use. Press it to set it, press it to click on it. If you mess up and you didn't want to go somewhere, then you just kind of let it go and wait, and it'll automatically go back to the main screen. So your main screen here, you've got your hot in. It shows the temperature you're hot in. This is the temperature that it's set to up here, and this is the temperature that it's at, set to and at. The one thing that I don't like about this has your time down here like most printers. See, this is the time. This is the last time. I just printed the bicep piece to my Stormtrooper suit, and it says 20 hours 24 minutes. So this is what it reads out once it's done. But it's got a little bar here that goes up and up and up and up and up, and you can watch it until it's done. My Anycubic shows me the percentage. I'd rather see the percentage instead of a bar just kind of going up. I don't know, I like the percentage better. But it's cool. As long as I know kind of where I'm at, you can kind of guess the halfway point and all that stuff. So, not a big deal. Not a big deal. On a review on that, this whole right here, easy to learn. Anybody can learn it. Anybody that's a beginner to 3D printing can learn this whole system right here. Super easy. We'll go down here, and this is your SD card. It's just a little, and it comes with a 8 GB SD card. This is the SD card that mine came with. It's a little tiny one, which is awesome. I actually like this. I know that Maker's Muse makes a big deal out of these tiny SD cards all the time, but I'd rather have this tiny SD card slot, and it also comes with a USB SD card adapter for your computer. My other printer fits one of these SD cards, and I have to use one of these adapters and put it into this larger one and then put it in there. So not a huge fan of that. I'd rather have this than this. So I do like that. That's awesome. This is to plug it into your computer. You have your fan here, and this doesn't come with a cover. I printed this cover. You'll want that because you can see down in here all the little pieces of filament and stuff that come off through. When it sets, it puts a line down the side and then starts your print. So you've got this big long line of plastic, and then you kind of like knock it off. Sometimes it sticks and it falls down into here. So good idea to get a fan cover on there. It should have came with, I wish it would have came with a fan cover, because that would seem really smart. But it's good that people have created it. This right here does not come with the Ender 3. This is another piece that I printed. This is for my GoPro. I'm going to move these prints off of here, and I'll show you guys those here in just a second. This is the bed. I am not the biggest fan of this bed thing here. I love that it can be removed, because this makes for taking your prints off really easy. Because all you have to do is take this off, and then it's bendable. You can bend it Not a lot, but you can bend it to where it just kind of pops your print right off of it. As soon as it cools down, you can pop the print right off of it. I think that's awesome. But they do make magnetic beds that fit on the Ender 3 that I think I'm going to purchase from Amazon, because this one is non-magnetic. It just kind of sits here and it gets put on by these clips. I hate these clips because I do make big cosplay pieces, and sometimes I have to use up as much space as possible, and when you put the clip on, you can see just how much space these take up, and happen to have 4 of them on here. If you don't, then the bed moves around. So that's no bueno. You have to plan accordingly when you're setting up your print in your slicer. Make sure that you know where your clips are going to be, so you're not setting them in the path of your hot end at any one point. Another thing is, you can see these little spots here. There's a spot there, and there's a bunch of these spots here in the back. Whenever I was first leveling this, I actually had turned it on. I got the heat set to 220 on the hot end, and then I remembered at the last second that I had to level it, and it made that one right there. It just burned right into the bed thing. And those back there are from another time that it was unlevel back here, and I was trying to go up and down and stuff. It had already failed like 3 different prints, and so I was trying to fix this one back here, and every time that it touched the hot end, it burned these little holes into it. So this bed has like no heat resistance when it comes to the hot end, and these things are just permanent. And I know on Maker's Muse's review, he was talking about some dents that is scraper made in it, and it's not that great of a bed cover. It's just not that great. I would go out and get the aftermarket ones because they're so much better than these from what I've seen in the reviews and stuff. But like I said, this thing's only $200, and Creality did cut corners to make this $200, and I can see this bed being one of those corners cut. I know that they cut corners when it comes to the extruder and when it comes to the hot end. I want to do this review based on the hot end that it came with. This hot end's a good hot end. I haven't had any troubles with it or anything, but I have been told by people to get a completely different hot end than the one that it comes with, and that'll have a lot better printing. Also, this tube right here, there's a blue tube that you can get on Amazon that will make it a whole lot better. I haven't had a whole lot of trouble, and I'm going to show you those prints here in a second. For what I do for the cosplay and stuff, this is perfectly fine with me. But I can see all these upgrades and stuff being more necessary if you're making 3D printed pieces that aren't going to have any post-processing stuff to it. So depending on what you want to make, if you're just doing what I'm doing, this is fine for now. But I am going to order another one just to see how it does. Probably won't do the tube. Probably not going to worry too much about the tube. Because I'm getting a pretty decent result with the tube that I've got, and all of my stuff gets post-processing, so not that worried about that. Very easy to put this whole thing together. Back here, this is the extruder here. The gripe that I have with this is plastic, and again, you can get an upgrade for this on Amazon, a fully aluminum one. I just don't trust the plastic. I don't. It just feels real lightweight. Feels like it's gonna break very, very soon. So another upgrade that I need to get. One of the things that I didn't like about the Ender 3 as a whole was when you come over here, there's no filament in. Like in the Anycubic i3 Mega, if you go into it, you can push a button and it pulls filament into the tube, and you can run any existing filament color that you have in out. This doesn't have it. And it doesn't come with a thing up here so you can twist it on up the tube into the deal. So you have to print something like this, which I designed this one. This is a Batman one, so you can put on here. So this makes it easier so you can push the filament up into the tube. You just twist that. So that was one of my gripes, was not having a way to get the filament up into here. You can hold this like this, to where this separates from this side. There's no tension on it, and you can shove the filament up through the tube if you want. and that's kind of how you do the first print. But it's so much easier to have something that you can put on here and just twist and, you know, get it to go. So another complaint that I had was just this filament comes right next to this, and so I had to I had to print this off here and this piece off here so that filament could go in there without touching this part. I do like this thing. I know a lot of people don't like these up here, but I actually like this all being a part of one printer instead of like there's my Anycubic i3 Mega spool back there. It's a completely different piece that you can move around and stuff. I love that this is part of the printer. I think it looks a little bit more elegant that way. So anyways, that's the printer itself. Let me show you guys the pieces. This is the test print that I printed on their settings. This little guy took 4 hours on their settings. I'm not sure if they know what good settings are for their own products. I'm not sure at all, because I printed this bigger one on the Anycubic i3 Mega on real low settings, and it took me about 2 hours to print this entire thing. And it's bigger and it's a better print than this tiny little test print here. So not bad though. If you really look at it, that whole back part right there kind of just shows you it's not bad. I just don't know if this is an adequate test. So I'm going to show you guys. Most everything that I print is a lot bigger. I don't print anything small on this. This thing prints at a speed of 120, and my other printer prints at a speed of 100. So it's a lot quicker, and it's got a bigger build volume, so I've been printing all my big stuff on this. It's quicker to print big stuff on here. But I'm going to show you this. This is a bicep piece for a stormtrooper. This is after I've messed with the settings and got the settings just right in Cura, and you can see just how good that looks. It's still got the supports and stuff in it, but you can see just how good that piece is, how smooth it is. I think I got this thing humming. I think I got the perfect settings for it. It took me a while of messing around to get these settings. So if you're not having good print results with the Ender 3, get with me, because I've been getting some really good print results here recently. These last two pieces, these last two bicep pieces have just been perfect. You can see this was how the settings were, and you can see this has had some sanding and stuff to it, but you can definitely see all this like ghosting and stuff in here. It's more visible because of the sanding and stuff, but this it wasn't great at all. I mean, I was gonna have to do a lot of post-processing on it if I would have kept it in this setting, but only the pieces that I printed in black are really that bad. And then you can see this piece here, which the gray is the Ender 3, and then the blue is the Anycubic i3 Mega. So you see how I got them. Basically, I've got the Ender 3 printing just as good as I've got the Anycubic i3 Mega. And it's all in the settings. All in the settings. And the funny thing is these, you can see these 4 pieces here. The top 2 blue pieces took a lot longer to print than the bottom 2 gray pieces. So you can still have quick prints that are really good. I think, and I'll make a lot more smaller pieces like this. On my review for the Anycubic i3 Mega, I know I had a bunch of small pieces, small, medium, and large pieces, so I could just show you how they print. But like I said, I just recently found the right settings for the Ender 3. I was having in fact, I was preferring to print on the Anycubic i3 Mega, and I was trying to print as little as possible on the Ender 3 until I got the settings just right. So on the 3-month review, I have a whole bunch of smaller stuff, that way I can really show you how it does on pieces that you're not going to need post-processing and everything for. So if you need the settings and stuff, I use Cura as a slicer. If you need the settings, just reach out to me, leave a comment, and I'll get you the settings that I use for the Ender 3, and you can get these types of results. Because even with doing a lot of post-processing and stuff, you use a ton less Bondo and filament if you have a really smooth finish. Overall, guys, I've really enjoyed this thing. For the price range, like I said, it's $200. I am completely shocked and surprised by it. I know with the Anycubic i3 Omega, by now I was able to talk to you guys about their customer service and stuff, and how amazing their customer service is. I haven't had to do any fixing, any repairs or anything on this yet, but I've only had it for about a month, and this is my first review on it, so I can't say anything about that. But the printing that I have done on it has been quick. I've really enjoyed it. I really have enjoyed making all the upgrades and stuff. I love this thing. I just love having this. This is cool. All these little upgrades that I made for it. I can't remember, these ones right here and here were on the Anycubic i3 Mega, and oh, this one was on, this right here was printed on the Ender 3, so I'll show you guys that. And this was used without any supports, so it kind of shows how well it arches without any supports. And this was on the bad settings, so you can see just how spread apart that is, and how bad that surface is there, how bad that surface is there. So these are, this was prior to me getting the right settings down, but it works. So just review, I love all the upgrades that you can do to it. I love the USB. I love how easy it is to use this whole system here. All that is awesome, and the best part about this is easy to learn, only $200. Anybody can use this and print with it. You're not going to get perfect prints, you're not going to get the best prints, you're going to get great prints for a great price. Gripes, like I said, the extruder thing, the fact that it doesn't have a setting inside here to extrude. You have to print one of these off and put it in, or push it in. I don't like the plastic extruder, that's cruddy. And then the bed thing, really hate the bed thing. But overall, for a price of $200, I can deal with all that because the upgrades are fairly cheap. I think it's only like 20 bucks for 3 better bed things. It's like 20 bucks for the aluminum extruder thing. And if you want to upgrade the tube, it's fairly cheap. A new hot end is fairly cheap. I mean, all the upgrades and stuff for this are really cheap. So even if you bought the Ender 3 at $200, and got all the upgrades to where you're going to be printing much better than how it starts out, it's still going to be much cheaper than spending a whole lot of money on a bigger printer. It's just a great price range, and Creality did an amazing job at bringing the price range down so anybody could get into this 3D printing hobby. Anybody can. And they had the Anet 8 and all those DIY printers. This is a DIY printer. Much easier to put together than one of those machines, one of those DIY machines. Much easier. Creality really has their stuff together, and they use these things here and specific screws and stuff, and all their ball bearings and all this different stuff that they use. I mean, they really got their stuff down when it comes to their hardware and everything. It's a real simple build, So if you want a great DIY cheap printer to get into the hobby, I suggest you get one of these. Just save up your money. If you want to get into the 3D printing business, 3D printing hobby, just save up your money. Get one of these, $200 on Amazon. Check it out. Anyways, that's been my review. My name is Bryce Michael RC. Hope you guys have a lovely day. I'm going to continue printing some of my Stormtrooper stuff, and we'll catch you guys on the flip side. Bye.